Hey, good morning. This is Pastor Harvey Beck. This is our Wednesday devotion we do here at Lester Memorial. Glad you're joining us. And we have been studying the book called The Pursuit of God on Wednesday nights in a Bible study devotion. And the book is titled A.W. Tozer is the author. And it's called The Pursuit of God. I've been sharing it with you, coming back to it, but we're going to be studying chapter 5, the universal presence of God. So just want to talk about the presence of God. And one of the key verses that he uses to open up the chapter is Psalms 139, verse 7. Where can I go? The psalmist is asking, where can I go from your spirit? Is there any place I can go away from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? Where can I flee from your presence? And we've been talking a lot this year in our church about seeking the presence of God. And so in his book, The Universal Presence of God, he's talking about that God is present everywhere. Now, I'm going to read a few key verses from Psalms 139, but I encourage you to read Psalms 139. Read all of it. To me, it's probably one of the top 5 Psalms that I would strongly encourage you to go back to again and again and to know is just an humbling thing and reminds us that God is omnipresent. He is present everywhere. He is his divine immanence, and we're going to look at that word in just a moment. But just hear some of the verses out of Psalms 139. But from time to time, just go read Psalms 139. It's a good one. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know my sitting down, my rising up. You understand my thought afar off. You comprehend my path and my lying down. You are acquainted with all of my ways. And then that question in verse 7, where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into heaven, you're there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you're there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall uphold me. Then he even goes back and describes that even God was there even yet while I was formed in the womb of my mama. That's pretty incredible. For you formed me, my inward parts, and you covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Um, how precious, this is verse 17, how precious also are your thoughts to me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they would be more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Uh, he ends with search me, an invitation that the psalmist is asking, and what a beautiful thing we should pray. I should pray, search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties, and see if there is any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Beautiful psalm. Again, I encourage you to memorize it. So Tozer talks about the presence of God. We've been talking about in our church, we need to seek the presence of God. We've been talking about our theme, the shadow of the cross. The cross reveals truth. God knows everything about us. And so Tozer in his book uses the word immanence, and I'm just going to read straight from the first paragraph from A.W. Tozer. In all Christian teaching, certain basic truths are found, hidden at times, and rather assumed and asserted, but necessary to all truth, as the primary colors are found in and necessary to the finished painting. Such a truth is the divine immanence. Now that's spelled Immanence. God dwells in his creation and is everywhere, invisibly present in all of his works. So I just looked up the word immanence. And so what does that mean? Is that important to your theology, your of who God is? I think it's extremely important. So God's immanence, Immanence, and the reason I emphasize that because there is a word that's spelled Immi, the imminence. It is imminent that Christ is going to return, but this is a different word. Immanence refers to his presence within creation. And a belief in God's immanence holds that God is present in all creation while remaining distinct from it. And Tozer spent a little bit of time making sure we understand that. He is not creation. He created the creation, so he's other than, but yet he's omnipresent, always with us. We need to know that. We need to be reminded of that. So a belief in God's immanence holds that God is present in all of creation while remaining distinct from it. In other words, there is no place where God is not. His sovereign control extends everywhere simultaneously. Very powerful, beyond my mind really to comprehend, but I know that, and I need to know that. And Psalms 139 reminds us of how present God is everywhere. But sometimes I'm not aware of his presence. Sometimes sin, my bad choices, my bad decisions, just the brokenness of life, sometimes I'm not keenly aware of God's presence with me. So that's an intimate, personal thing that God wants us to be in his presence and know him. But the understanding of the immanence of God is the fact that he's everywhere. And so that's part of the understanding. Now, there's another word called pantheism. A lot of the people in Asia and different religions around the world believe in pantheism. Pantheists believe that everything is God or is a part of God, making him equal with his creation and unable to act upon it. And so the immanence of God is different. He is present everywhere, but he is definitely involved in those of us whom he created. And so the universal presence of God is a powerful thing that we understand. So I hope that you will take time and make time to read Psalms 31. I'll give you one other quote that he gave in his book. This is on page 58 for those of you who have this book. He is transcendent above all of his works, even while he is immanent within them. What does this divine immanence mean in direct Christian experience? That's a great question. And then he answers it. It means simply that God is here. Wherever we are, God is here. There is no place, there can be no place where he is not. I read a devotion, and some of you that read the Wake Up Call devotion, Dan Wilt, this was probably 2 weeks ago. This is just a portion of it. God is a God of place. He meets with us in spaces and locations that become precious to our journey of intimacy and faith. Where are you right now? Are you in your home? Are you in your office? Are you sitting in your car? Is where you are a place where you meet with Jesus or you wrestle with your identity and pray through your problems? The good news is that there is the universal presence of God everywhere. And we need to know that. I think it's an humbling statement. It's a convicting statement. But also when we seek the presence of God to be intimate with him, oh, what wonderful comfort it brings. So I hope you'll be comforted today, God, by God's presence everywhere. Hope you'll read Psalms 139. God is everywhere. He knows everything about us, and yet he still loves us. The immanence of God is important to our theology. God bless you. I hope you have a golden day, and wherever you're at today, God is present. Love you. Bye-bye.